Thank you guys for tuning back in and checking out the channel. Today I'm going to be tying a little Baetis pattern. It's a variation of Charlie Craven's Juju Baetis, and I think it's just a little bit easier than working with some of that other material, the Supreme hair. Not ever been a really big fan of it, but I do like how much easier this is to tie. You can kind of crank these out a little bit faster, and that Supreme hair doesn't always lay down as well as you want it to. So I'm going to start off today, and I'm just going to tie it in purple. Sometimes purple is the ticket, and sometimes I've noticed it's either purple or red. Just really depends on the water, and sometimes the fish really key into it. I like to tie this in a variety of colors. I like to do olive, black, brown, cream, all these natural colors, but I'm going to do purple today. Been having some success on purple, so I'm gonna go ahead and start off with UTC 70 in purple. I'm gonna go ahead and tie back to the curve of the hook. This pattern mimics a variety of bugs and is just one of my most successful patterns. I've caught a lot of fish on it, and I highly recommend having these in your box at all time. So I'm gonna go ahead and take some hen saddle, just a little bit of feathers out, and tie those in. Anytime you're tying in something, it's easy to kind of do a loose wrap, so I'll kind of do like a loose wrap, get it kind of situated, and then I'll go ahead and cinch down. And then you can kind of position those into place. That makes tying a little bit easier. One of those feathers got away, but that's okay. So just pull that out, and then I'm going to cinch that down. I'm going to pull these forward, make that tail about the size of the body, and then I'm going to do another wrap just to secure and lock that in place. I'm going to be doing some extra small black ribbing to give it some perspective, I guess is what you could call it. I don't even know, but real bugs have ribs. It's crazy to think about, I know. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that and wrap that in. And anytime you're tying, you can always rotate your thread. If you throw it counterclockwise, that loosens up the thread, at least for this UTC. And if you want your thread to kind of get tighter, you kind of do that. So I'm gonna go ahead and loosen that thread up so I can have some flat wraps. And I'm gonna go ahead and start working forward. I try to keep my material in there. Some people don't, it doesn't really matter, but I try to keep my material in there to try to keep the body a consistent size. And then once I get to the top, I'll go ahead and clip the materials out. So got that nice body, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start wrapping my ribbing. You can wrap it either way you want. I always like to wrap forward, kind of the way my thread wraps go. Just something that I've always done, but you can always wrap towards you, and then you want to secure it, wrap a couple times behind and one forward. So then for wire, easy way to get this off, go ahead and rotate it like a helicopter, and it will pop right off. So you can do that for any wire materials, makes it very easy. The next thing I'm gonna add is I'm gonna go ahead and add some Flouro fibers. These are probably, this is the material I use the most, honestly. I think when it comes to tying for any wing materials, I think it just looks very real in the water. It's low profile, just looks good. So I'm gonna try to get on this, I forgot to tell you, I'm tying on a 2488H, size 18. I usually will tie these all the way down to 24, but I'm gonna try to get about 8 of these Flouro fibers. It doesn't need to be exact. And something I've said before when I tie, nature isn't perfect, so you don't need to be either. All right, let's see, that looks about good, close enough. Something you can do with this material too, makes it easier to tie in because it kind of spreads like that, is to go ahead and wet it. So whether you want to use your saliva or you want to use some water, whatever you prefer, tie that on down. Then you cinch that to the back, work it, there you go. And then that is on there. Do a couple wraps, build that head a little bit. So next, I'm going to add some hairline cream dubbing. I just like the way that this is going to contrast the body a little bit, give it a little different look. With fly tying, less is more. So I'm gonna go ahead and I like to wet the thread, and then I like to put on my super fine dubbing and go like that. So go ahead and wrap that in, do a nice little tight dubbing noodle, and then that is the thorax of your fly. Next, you're gonna take those Flouro fibers, fold them over, and hit it with a wrap. You can do 2 wraps if you want. And then we're going to separate these. So apologize for my hand being in the way of the camera. I'm going to pull this one closest towards me and wrap that one in first. Do 1 wrap, then I'm gonna do the other side. That makes it a lot easier to tie in. And then we're good to go. That's pretty much the fly. Gonna add a little bit of glue. I like to use super glue or Zap-A-Gap. That's some very, very strong glue. That fly will not come apart on you. So go ahead and put the glue on first. A couple wraps around. Then you're gonna go ahead and whip finish. Little trick for when you're whip finishing. I'm gonna push the whip finish away from you with the hook, bring it up like that on the knob. Then you're gonna go ahead and take your right hand and move your right hand out and create a triangle. See how that triangle is right there? So you're gonna create that triangle, and then you're gonna lay it down and you're gonna wrap 3 times. There's a little ball on this whip finish.